Nothing like Speedway. The roar of the bikes and the cars. The race is on, smell the fuel in the air. The car comes alive, they're free to fly. Nothing like Speedway. Nothing like Speedway. Nothing like it. Nothing like Speedway around. Nothing like Speedway around.
Tonight we've got a real bonanza for you. The All-Star Sidecar Shootout. It's the first time we've seen bikes here for more than 3 years. You're going to see some faces you'll remember from the past. Right now, let's get on with the action. Your caller, Mark Robinson.
And the tapes fly for the opening event. This is the Sidecar Scratch Heat 1 and into turn 1, and it's Martin Herkmans from South Australia leads them into the first turn. Out of turn 2, Shane Suter from Victoria right behind him with the blue cap on. Martin Herkmans having a good season. In third place, Phil McCurtain, a 3 times Australian champ, and Doc Folk back in fourth place. They've done 1 of 3 laps. 2 to go, and it's Herkmans leads them in. Look at the passenger, get down the passenger, crucial in sidecar racing, trying to keep it smooth. They keep the power on the bike, down through turn 2 and down Casino Straight. That's Shane Suter in second spot, but he's under pressure, and here comes Phil McCurtain. All the bikes touch on the corner out of Adelaide. That's close racing, and they get the yellow flag, meaning in motorcycle racing, 1 lap to go on their last lap. Meantime, as the scraps on for second and third, the leader Martin Herkmans, but not out of the woods yet. He's only got to make 1 mistake, although now Suter slows down slightly, and Herkmans powers out of that corner beautifully and gets a good break down through Adelaide for the last time around to get the checkered flag. And first, Martin Herkmans of South Australia. Second goes to Phil McCurtain. Shane Suter in third place. Heat 2 of the Sidecar Scratch, and they're off and racing, and one of the bikes up and over, and that's Keith Braddock from New South Wales. And the tapes fly for the restart, and this time Braddock away cleanly in event 2, but he's back in third place, although battling through turns 1 and 2, and it's Gary Treloar who gets away from them down Adjip the first time. Braddock up there dicing for second and goes through to second after that tumble at the start in the first heat. One of them running very wide there and allows third place to get through. But there's the race leader in the white cap. It's Gary Treloar, followed by Keith Braddock in third place. In third place in the red, it's Chris Ray from South Australia on this 3-lap event. And there's the leader with the white cap on. It's Gary Treloar doing a good job too. Takes a lot of time to build up a good rapport with the passenger to know exactly what the bike and the rider's doing. The yellow flag out signifying 1 lap to go. Still Braddock into second place. He's done a good job. His passenger was limping badly after that tumble at the start, and still a fair gap back to Chris Ray in third place from South Australia. But unless he makes a mistake, there's no chance of Treloar losing this race. Around the turn he goes, very wide, but comes through to get the checkered flag. Gary Treloar first, in second place Keith Braddock, and in third place South Australia's Chris Ray. And event 3 underway, the Sidecar Scratch, and Darren Treloar screams away from the start to head Andrew Cleave, who gets very untidy and holds up the progress of Peter Fleet from South Australia in third spot. But Darren Treloar perhaps the surprise package, but not for long. Look at Andrew Cleave, top rider, gets through, coming out of Adjip now down the start finish line for the first time on 3 laps. Rider just straightens up, and look how far back on the bike that rider is. Out of Goodyear turn, getting right over close to the track. Treloar goes very wide, might have problems by the looks, and still in second place is Peter Fleet, but there's the leader. And that's Andrew Cleave, and look at the style of them. The two mesh together beautifully as they come through Adjip turn into the start finish line, working the big capacity bike down the start finish line. The yellow flag out on their last lap, and it's Peter Fleet from South Australia still in second spot, and Darren Treloar obviously has bike problems. He's dropped right back as Peter Fleet. Meantime, down Casino Straight for the last time. There's the leader, Andrew Cleave from Victoria. Puts it around the turn. He's flying, comes down to take the checkered flag, and there it is for Andrew Cleave in first place. Second to South Australia's Peter Fleet, and a half a lap back will be Darren Treloar in third place. Heat 1 of the solo scratch race. Off they go, a pile of smoke. And as they head through the first turn, getting away is Ashley Norton to a good start. Right behind him is Phil Crump. And down the back straight, that's the way they are, 1 and 2. Coming into turn 3 and about to come through Goodyear, and look at Crump take it outside, trying to get around the outside of Norton, and appears to be successful. Now cuts it in, coming into Adjip turn on the second lap. And whoa, takes a wide line, has to work hard, and that allows Norton to get right back up with him. But Crump gets away a little bit down around turn 3, coming into Goodyear turn. The yellow flag about to come out. It's a gaggle of them for the miners in the background, but there he is, Phil Crump. Puts it into Adjip turn. Look at the gap now, and under threat for third place. It appears to be coming up there. Norton still in second, but there's Phil Crump, and look at the lead he's got. Now out of turn 3. coming down around to take Goodyear turn, and the checkered flag will be waiting for him. So Phil Crump goes through to win second to Ashley Norton, and in third place, it's Craig Hodgson. Heat 4 of the sidecar scratch, and Cleave gets the front wheel into the air, and through into the lead goes Keith Braddock, the man who did exactly that in one of the earlier heats, and Ron Rohde back in third place. But again, look at Cleave. He's a bit slow off the line, but look at him power down the back through Casino Straight, and the lead pulled out as he keeps the power on through the corner. That's the secret, try and keep the power to the ground, and he certainly does that and pulls out a good lead over Keith Braddock. Ron Rohde from South Australia in third place. Andrew Cleave from Victoria now puts it through turn 2 and down Casino Straight. The passenger just gets up but keeps the weight right back on the bike. That's to keep the back wheel down, keep the traction down, keep the power to the ground. Comes around now for the yellow flag. 1 lap to go in this 4th sidecar scratch heat. Andrew Cleave cuts it a little on that corner. Bit of bumpy stuff around the track. Look at the passenger hanging on, but trying to keep the momentum out. There's the gap between first and second, and back to Keith Braddock in second spot. And Ron Rohde's bike's got a few problems back in third, but Andrew Cleave keeps the power on. Out of Adjip turn, right up close to the wall. There's the checkered flag. Another one to Andrew Cleave. Second to Keith Braddock, and third to Ron Rohde. And the tapes fly for Heat 5 in the sidecar scratch, and bike 15 at the back there getting a very slow start is actually Jim Irwin, who is the reserve on one of the HRD Vincents. But there's the battle for the lead, and it's Chris Fraser at the moment into the lead, and he is ahead of Ray with the yellow helmet on the white coloured bike, and that's Martin Herkman's going very wide on the turn there in third place at the moment. But Herkman's now powers past, bike 53 Ray has problems. That's bad luck for him. But in the meantime, it is Chris Fraser from Broken Hill who is leading this race at the moment and getting quite a good gap too. Chris Fraser. Behind him, Martin Herkman's in passenger, and Jim Irwin on the big HRD Vincent, sounding magnificent back in third place, but still putting up a spirited show. The yellow flag out, 1 lap to go. There's the race leader, Broken Hill, Chris Fraser. And Herkman's again getting very wide out of that turn, taking it very wide there, and a big gap now, and unless something drastically goes wrong in these last 2 turns, it'll be Fraser who will get the checkered flag. Around they come. The close flag now goes out, and first goes to Chris Fraser. In second spot, Martin Herkman's, and Jim Irwin in third spot. Heat 6, sidecar scratch, the 4 bikes off and running, and from the outside of the track, getting a good start was Treloar, but leading them, it's Fulp. Doc Fulp leads them on this first lap down the back straight. Shane Suter back in third place, and in fourth place, it's Peter Fleet. At the moment, Fleet, they're making a move on the inside of Suter. I don't know whether Suter's got some problems, but meantime, Doc Fulp leads them in second place. New South Wales 6, Gary Treloar. 1 lap down and 2 to go in the scratch race, and Doc Fulp doing a good job. Had some problems with the bike earlier in the night, but doing a good job now, heading out from Treloar, and way back then in third place to Peter Fleet, and Shane Suter is back in fourth spot, rear of field, coming around to get the yellow flag. Fulp now starting to get under a bit of pressure, but still maintaining this lead. 1 lap to go. Doc Fulp, the blue mobile bike. In second place, it's New South Wales 6, Gary Treloar. Back to third place, South Australia's Peter Fleet, and also Shane Suter. There's the race for first and second. 2 turns to go, 1 turn to go, and Doc Fulp is going out a little wide, but looks as though he may hang on. He's got bike problems, but he gets through. Looked as though the bike had a bit of a problem, gets through to win. Second goes to Treloar, and in third place, Peter Fleet. And they're off in Heat 2, the solo scratch, into the first turn, and leading them out through the first turn, it is Craig Hodgson. Craig Hodgson down the back straight, down Casino Straight, and getting away to a good early break too. The smoke's still thick as they come around to go through with 1 lap and 2 to go. In second spot with the blue, it's Ashley Norton in second. Back to third spot, and that appears to be Hodgson back in third, and in fact it's Shane Parker who is leading them out just at the moment with just over a lap to go, and we've got a good dice on our hands here for first, second and third. There's the yellow flag. 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go, and leading them at the moment is Parker. Back in second spot we have Norton, and third is Craig Hodgson. Down Casino for the last time. Now we've got a bit of a go on our hands here for second and third. But now Hodgson gets a little untidy there in second spot, and he's going to lose second, but to the line it's going to be Parker wins it, and no, Hodgson just gets done by Norton for second and third. Heat 5 of the sidecar scratch, and they're off and racing, and Chris Ray goes through to the lead on bike 53, gets a great start there and goes straight to the lead and gets a good lead too. We've got the Vincent running again in this one, but there's the leader down Casino coming into turn 3 and about to come through turn 4 in second place at the moment. It is in fact Jim Irwin on the big Vincent. Back in third place, Martin Herkmans and Ron Rohde in fourth. So the old Vincent putting up a terrific show on the second of 3 laps. Chris Ray, look at the passenger working hard, getting down low, holding the bike tight. Takes it a little wide as they come through Adjip. You notice the different lines there as Irwin hugs it down low. And right up high to take the yellow flag with 1 lap to go goes Chris Ray. Now out of turn 2 and down Casino Straight for the last time as the passenger hangs on for Grimlight. There's the gap, first, second, and way back to third place, Martin Herkmans. Coming down around turn 3 and about to come through Adjip turn, and Irwin starting to move up behind him. But Chris Ray takes the checkered flag in second spot, Jim Irwin, and third, Martin Herkmans. Whoop! Oh, and there goes the tapes. Chris Fraser, Outski. And heat 6 in the sidecar scratch, and they're off, and Braddock goes into the lead, hotly pressed by Suter out of turn 1 into turn 2. And Suter now goes in, under, and a nice manoeuvre gets Shane Suter. And look at the lead he pulls out down the back, down Casino. Keith Braddock in second spot, a 3-times New South Wales champ and a former Australian Best Pairs champ too. He's got the work cut out for him if he's going to catch up with Shane Suter, who's leading at the moment. Rick Munro got his bike out and running tonight. He's in third place, and that's the way they stand at the moment. Just the 3-bike race at the moment. Chris Fraser was excluded for jumping the start and busting the tapes. There's the leader, Shane Suter. Dave Martin, his passenger. Second, Keith Braddock. And third is Rick Munro, a famous sidecar name in South Australia. 1 lap to go. The yellow flag out for Shane Suter. Looks nice and tidy as they get down through that turn and pulling out a good lead now. And Munro starting to threaten for second and third spot. And Braddock is under threat. There's the battle, and there's the lead. And here's the leader. Shane Suter really pushing it through the turns now, coming out of Adjip. And he's going to come up to take the checkered flag. First goes to Shane Suter. And second goes to Keith Braddock. Rick Munro in third place. Event 11, heat 9 of the sidecar scratch, and the wheel of Andrew Cleave gets up in the air. A good start, and look at him go, cut across and get into the lead. Andrew Cleave, and already starts to pull away from the remainder of the pack. It's Gary Treloar back in second spot, but there's the leader, Andrew Cleave. Around for the first of 3 laps. Gary Treloar in second spot. And third, it's a real battle there between Doc Fulp and Peter Fleet. And Greg Black, his passenger from South Australia, and they get into third. Fleet into third place. But look at Andrew Cleave now. Look at the rooster tail of dust as he takes it up wide to the drier part of the track. Gets out in the loose stuff, but now comes down tight through Adjip turn to get the yellow flag with 1 to go. The bike skipping around a bit, takes it very wide up near the fence. 1 lap to go, and Cleave has a good lead, but certainly Gary Treloar doing a good job in second. He's got away a bit from Doc Fulp, and unfortunately Peter Fleet drops out with mechanical problems. Cleave, passenger, just looks over the back to see how far ahead they are, and he knows that he can take it easy because he has this race run. Not that these guys ever slacken off. Again, that high line out of Adjip. Checkered flag for Andrew Cleave in second spot. It is Gary Treloar, third to Doc Fulp. And event 12, the solo scratch heat 3, and they're off and running. And Leigh Adams gets the lead. And down on the outside, another one of the bikes goes very wide, but it's Leigh Adams now. And bike 11 gets into the lead, but behind him, there goes Phil Crump around the outside. And look at that, and something wrong with Adams' bike as he gets back, goes back through the crowd, through the rest of the bikes, a crowded field, but it's Phil Crump in the meantime, gets away from them. Now Shane Bowes into second. Crump goes very wide there. The bike blew out a bit of smoke, but now gets things motoring. In the meantime, up into second spot in the yellow helmet, that is Craig Hodgson. But there's the race leader. It's Phil Crump, Craig Hodgson behind him, and Shane Bowes still doing a good job in third place. They're on their last lap in this 3-lap heat. And Phil Crump now puts the leg up, keeps it nice and tidy, casts a little glance as they go down Casino, looks over his left shoulder to see just what sort of lead he's got. The bike bumps around a bit on the corner, and in second spot, doing a good job is Hodgson, but there is Phil Crump, takes out the race. And they're off in the Vincent HRD salute, and listen to those bikes go. Unfortunately, one of them problems, but there's Neil Munro. Neil Munro, who was the Australian champion in 72, 73, this bike called Knight Skinner. Now the other bike off and running, but unfortunately it's about a straight length, almost half a lap behind. But meantime, the big HRD Vincent burns around the track. Listen to the noise of them. Come down on this 3-lap race. There's a trophy on the end of this, and Neil Munro. His passenger is Rick Schoenfeld, but unfortunately Doug Robson and Tony Kester have got real problems with their bike. That's a real shame. There they are, just touring around, looking down at the bike, wondering what the problem is. Meantime, though, there is Neil Munro. What a sight, hey? The Vincents back at Speedway Park. They sit up, coming down the straight, take the yellow flag. And unfortunately, Doug Robson, the 3-times Australian champion on Black Knight Lightning, is not going too well. There's the bike called Knight Skinner, down Casino for the last time. And Neil Munro putting the bike around the turn as coming through. Unfortunately, Doug Robson now falling right back. and almost a lap behind. There's a checkered flag now. And from New South Wales, Doug Robson across the line to take the checkered flag. The 3 times Australian champion with Tony Kester on board. And bad luck for Neil Munro, unfortunately, and Ricky Schoenfeld with bike problems.
Neil Munro, not a lot of luck with the bike then. What happened?
No, we blew a clutch there on the line, just out off the line there, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. It was just one race too many tonight for it. We brought the bike down here to set it up for just one race, and we've been using it early on. Another chappie been riding it there, but well, it's taken us 30 years to get the bugs out of it, and it's still going, so we'll get it going again. We'll be back in action tonight.
How competitive is the racing?
Well, the racing here tonight, very competitive. Look, we got the cream of Australia in sidecar ranks. Not us old timers, but the young blokes in the sidecar shootout. We've got the best here tonight available.
Nice to see the bikes back out at Speedway Park.
Oh yes, and losing that crowd, they're loving it too there. So we hope it's going to continue along anyway.
This bike's done a bit of work. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, well, this is made out of, I reckon, melted down Spitfires. It was made in 1946. It's one of the very earliest Vincent's made. It was designed by Phil Irving of Repco Brabham for fame, and the V-twin pushrod motor, 1,000 cc's of liquid dynamite. I reckon they're a very enjoyable bike to ride.
How do they compare with the bikes later days?
On particular tracks, yes, we're still in it, as we saw Jim Irwin a little moment ago there. We've still got things we can do to these engines. We've got another engine on the bench, fuel injection, electronic ignition. This is basically still the same bike, although we've got brand new parts in it as they were racing back in the early 50s.
Rick hanging off the back, how's that?
Well, it's a bit different on the old Vincent than what it is these new lowliners and that, but it was an experience to have a ride on a Vincent. I've always wanted to have a go. I had my chance with Jim earlier on tonight, but it was a pity with Neil. Would have been good fun if we didn't do the clutch, but that's the way it goes.
There's still plenty of grunt in these bikes.
Oh yeah, for sure. It amazed me how much grunt there is on them, you know. You got to hang on still, just because they're old. Don't let them deceive you that way.
Oh, Doug, you made that look fairly easy.
Yeah, it wasn't that easy, but this terrific passenger Tony made it so much easier for me, Case. When Neil Munro rang me, I was a bit reluctant to come because I thought, well, you know, what sort of a passenger I'm going to get? You know, I've had some bad passengers, believe me, and they do make it harder. Particularly on these Vincents, they need a good passenger. But this Tony is unreal. You know, first time rider, I reckon if I was a rider, I reckon I could go on with him big things. But I don't kid myself about my age and my body. It just don't, you know, when you hit the ground, that's when you know how old you are. But I was really thrilled to come to Adelaide, see a lot of my good friends again, and flattered to be honoured as an Australian champion to come down and ride these motorbikes.
The crowd certainly appreciates seeing these old bikes.
Well, I don't blame them, because when I come to Neil Munro's place today and seen that Vincent and seen he painted a red and white cross on the Sidecar wheel for me, and then when he started up, that was it. I was hooked. I mean, I wasn't going home without riding. I didn't like to stay the week. It was rained off. And I just like to thank everybody for the wonderful time I've had here, and it's absolutely fantastic.
The bikes you're riding, how do they compare with the bikes they're using these days?
Oh, well, they're sort of different. They've got big flywheels in, and like when I was riding in Melbourne with the late Terry Rooney, just before I won the Australian Championship, we had imports versus the English. That was the Vincents and the Japanese motorcycles. And we won, the imports won, but as Phil Irvin said to me, Doug, that took 20 years to do that, didn't it? I said, you're right, Phil. You remember Phil, he designed the Vincent, helped design it, Phil Irvine. And that was about 10 years ago, so that was 20 years then for the Japanese motorbikes to eventually overrun the Vincents. And I still believe that if Vincent had the 4-valve heads and a lot of modern day engineering, they could be still fit. Well, look at Jim tonight. I mean, that's, the case, isn't it?
Tony, hanging off the back of one of those old bikes, what was it like?
It's a good experience. It's really good. You know, that's not the first time I've ridden on the Vincent, but I feel really confident with Doug. He's quite an extraordinary person, I think.
The crowd here certainly appreciates seeing the old bikes go out again.
Oh well, even I do. I've been around Speedway, watching Speedway with my father and that since I was 3 years old, and I've always watched them, and I still love them. My dad's still got a old Norton Sidecar in the garage.
What is it about the old bikes that just seems to capture the people's imagination?
That they're still going. That's the main thing. These new bikes are good. Like I've been swinging off the new bikes for a long time. But the old Vinnies, and the old bikes, they still got that guts in it. Plenty of grunt down low, and away they go. It's really good.
First semi-final for the sidecars, and they're off and racing. Cleave starting in low, but it's Doc Fulp who goes through initially. All the bikes touch, and Fulp just able to hold out Cleave. He shut the door on him, but he goes very wide as a result. And Andrew Cleave, the man who's won 3 races so far tonight, the 87 Australian champion, puts it in low, comes out a little wide now, heading down over the start-finish line out of Adjip turn. And it's Andrew Cleave leading, second Doc Fulp, Chris Ray in third place, and Braddock back in fourth place at the moment. Andrew Cleave taking a wider line, and Doc Fulp getting an inside run, and Fulp goes through again to take the lead, and Chris Ray gets through too. And it looks as though now that Andrew Cleave has got big bike problems. Yes, he drifts out wide, Braddock gets through too. But it's Doc Fulp leading this first semi-final. South Australia, Chris Ray in second spot. And in third, it's Braddock, and Cleave pulling up. Unfortunately, he's out of the race with problems. They're on their last lap now, and Doc Fulp heading him down the Casino Straight. Doc Fulp and Wayne Galvin, the passenger, puts it out a little wide there. Chris Ray in second spot as they come now out of Adjip. A fairway back is Braddock. Up to take the checkered flag. First, Doc Fulp. Second to Chris Ray, and third goes to Keith Braddock. Second semi-final for the sidecars. Off they go. Fraser gets a good start from out wide, but it's Martin Herkmans from South Australia leads them around turn 1. And it is right behind him, Treloar, almost touching bikes. And Suda has problems now too. Suda drops right back. But look at this battle through the turns, right next to each other. That is fantastic racing, and brave too. And Treloar gets through and grabs the lead off of Marty Herkmans. But Herkman's not giving up. He's in hot pursuit, and Fraser third. Back to Suda, who seems to be mobile again. Now not sure what happened there, but Suda still in fourth and circulating well, but too far back to do any damage. And it's Treloar who gets away now, and now puts it down through turn 3, coming around through Adjip. 1 lap to go, the yellow flag out, and a good battle for second and third. Meantime, Treloar starts to clear out as they come through the turn. Herkman's still second, but he's got Fraser from Broken Hill right on his tail. Meantime, though, the leader, Treloar, down Casino for the last time. In second spot, still Herkmans, but there's going to be a late challenge by the third bike of Fraser as they come around the turn, but Herkmans looks as though he's held him off. Around through Adjip to get the checkered flag. Checkered flag goes out to Treloar, second Herkmans, and third Fraser. Solo final, and they're off and racing. Watch that man in the centre, Phil Crump. He doesn't get the best jump first of all, though. Although now look at him going around the outside and has a battle on his hands. But meantime, there is our race leader up front at the moment. And look at now, Crump coming around the outside, trying to make up a lot of ground. That's him on the outside and coming down the straight with the first of 3 laps underway. Oh, Crump, what style. Goes wide, but just motors past them. Look at the control of the bike, but he can't quite get past them. And Adams... Still, it is Phil Crump, though, in second place. And now, surely, as the yellow flag comes out, he's going to get through. But no, it's a great race up front. And it's Leigh Adams who's doing a fantastic job. Leigh Adams on bike 11. The red helmet on, down the back straight. This will be the last chance. It looks like Crump has blown his chance. He's back in third place now. But it'll be Adams who will come across the line. And Adams takes out the feature. And in the second place, it is Norton and Phil Crump in third place.
Well, Jim, just looking at these bikes, I'd say it'd take a brave man to get on and ride one of them.
Yes, well, I suppose you could say that, but we're very dedicated. All the sidecar personnel are very dedicated, and we put all our effort into our machinery and try and keep it all as safe as possible, of course.
You're on a 1952 model there. What's that like to ride?
Well, actually, that was made in 46, but it was introduced to Speedway in 52. As it stands at the moment, I've just put another sidecar on it. The other one got a little bit bent at Murray Bridge. But it is very different comparing it to the other low-line bikes.
Are they still competitive with the bikes they're racing these days?
Well, I was quite surprised to get a second place. But yes, they pull quite well, but the old gearboxes, you've got to say your name and change gears, and these Kawasaki's and etc. are out there now. You just look at the gear stick and you're in the next gear, you know. So you lose a lot of ground there.
The crowd certainly appreciates seeing these bikes here.
Well, I appreciate being able to ride it, actually.
Well, Phil Crump, the 4-time national champion, and proving in the stumbling block again tonight. It's been fairly competitive out here.
I'll say it has, especially these young riders that have been racing in England, and you know, they're really going for it.
How tough is it out there on the bike? You know, you're working up a bit of a sweat, no doubt.
Yes, it's very hard, this track. It's very grippy, and of course the bike's not really suited to such a grippy surface, but it's very demanding on the rider. But you know, we've put on a good show anyway.
What about the bike? Tell us a little bit about it. How big is the engine in it?
They're 4-valve single overhead cam 500cc. You know, they're just like one cylinder of a sprint car, really.
What about what sort of speeds are you getting up to?
Possibly about 80, I would say, down the straight. You know, I think actually the lap times are a bit slower than the sprint cars, but we're probably about the same down the straight, but a bit slower around the turn.
How does it feel when you're sitting on the bike there, flashing around the circuit?
Oh, it's a terrific feeling. I don't, you know, suppose it's anything like being on a fast motorcycle, but it's very hard. A few rocks out there tonight, but it was a terrific feeling.
Is that something you grew up with? How did you get a start in this sort of game?
Well, it was a long time ago. I've been racing motorbikes for about 20 years now, but I just started racing out through the bush in Mildura and just progressed from there. Went to Rowley Park, then I went to England for 17 years, and I'm back in Mildura now and just racing in Australia.
How do the Australians rate compared with the overseas riders?
Well, Australia's got a lot of young riders coming on now. Australia's been very low as far as world standings go, but Craig Hodgson, Leigh Adams, Ashley Norton, those young blokes that are overseas racing now, they're starting to put a mark down.
Well, you've been riding now, as you say, for quite a long time. Have you had any serious injuries in your time?
Not really. I had a nagging wrist injury that kept me out of racing for 12 months, and I broke a leg once, but that only kept me out for about a month, I suppose. You know, it's fairly dangerous, but with the number of races that you actually go in, I suppose I've done fairly well.
What makes a good rider?
Very difficult, I suppose. You know, you go to all the... They have training schools and that, but I think you either have the flair to race and ride the motorbike good, or you haven't got it. You know, you've just got to use your brain a little bit and ride within your own ability and not worry about what the next person's doing.
Well, you've virtually been a legend in your own lifetime. What lies in the future for Phil Crump?
Well, I've got a terrific sponsor from Sydney now, and things look as though I could be getting a sprint car in a couple of years. That's what he wants me to do anyway, but whether that'll eventuate, we'll just have to wait and see. But as far as motorbikes go, well, I'll just keep racing them for another year or so anyway.
What about the sprint cars? Does that appeal to you?
Yes, I've always been very interested in sprint cars. You know, I was down here last week and watched the big sprint car meeting, and whenever I can get to a meeting, I go and watch them. I was in America for a month, and I went and watched a couple of meetings there, and they really turned me on anyway.
Breaks of Glynn's Sidecar final left on the line. Gary Treloar, bad luck for him. Meantime, though, it's Marty Herkmans gets through to the lead. Doc Fulp in second place. Chris Ray in third, but pressuring. But Marty Herkmans starting to get away a little. This race over 3 laps. Around through turn 3, edge of turn, up towards the start-finish line. Doc Fulp coming up on the inside. In second place, Chris Ray still in third place. But meantime, Marty Herkmans out in front, trying to find the smooth track. The rooster tail there from the bike. Oh, and Fulp off! The bike in the air, both riders off. Riders and passenger appear to be okay. Martin Herkmans, Chris Ray on the inside, gets the upper hand now as they go down the back, but Herkmans fights back again. What a fantastic fight now. Herkmans goes under the other way, trying to get on onto the inside there, and it's Chris Ray coming along over the line. But Martin Herkmans right with him, just won't give this race away. Chris Ray a little lower on the track. Out of turn 2 now, Herkmans drops back a bit, goes a little higher as he has done all night, down Casino. And now down, coming towards Adjib turn. And Chris Ray got a bit of a break now as they come around to get the yellow flag, signifying 1 lap to go. The passenger hanging on for grim life. And no doubt thinking about what happened to Doc Fulp and his passenger. But there's Chris Ray, the race leader, about to come down Casino Straight for the last time. And now got a big lead over Marty Herkmans. So would have to do something wrong before he could lose this race. Chris Ray now coming around through Adjib turn, takes a high line, but a clean line. There's the checkered flag. Chris Ray wins. In second place, Marty Herkmans.
Chris Ray, easy winner there, very easy.
Well, not really. We tried for it, we went hard, but come home good.
The bike seems to be working fairly well.
Yeah, it's working real well. We experimented tonight with a complete new front end. It paid off.
How tough is it in the final? Do you feel the extra pressure?
Oh, definitely. most definitely.
Rob, hanging off the back of the bike, it certainly isn't the best place to be sometimes.
Oh, it's fun.
What about the teamwork? I guess that's vitally important, particularly when the racing's very tight.
Yeah, we've got to know exactly what each other's going to do before we do it.
The British Steel versus Rising Sun Sidecar handicap race. The big Vincent starting from 30 metres, and Jimmy Irwin looks as though he might have problems with it. Meantime, it's Rhodey through to the lead, and Rhodey also started from around 30 metres, and the others fighting it out. McCurtain started last from the 80-metre mark. Fraser started from 60. That's him on the inside now, and here's McCurtain on high gate going around the outside already, up into third place. But it's Ron Rhodey who leads them through. First of all, Chris Fraser from New South Wales, Broken Hill in second spot. Now third, McCurtain making a move, but there under the inside goes Fraser as they head down Casino Straight. Fraser, as mentioned, started from 60 metres behind the starting line and now gets through the lead, and Ron Rhodey looks as though he has problems, unfortunately, and drops out. So it's Chris Fraser. He's got a good lead now. You can hear the different note between the Japanese bikes and that Vincent when it thunders past. In second place, it's Phil McCurtain. In third place, it's Munro. And back to fourth place, the big Vincent with Jim Irwin on board. The yellow flag coming out now. Fraser leads them through. There's the last lap flag out. They're on their last lap. Out of Goodyear turn, out of turn 2 and heading down Casino. Phil McCurtain in second spot. Doesn't look as though he's going to be able to make up the extra meterage that he had to from the start. And the race leader, Chris Fraser, down through the last 2 turns to salute the checkered flag. In the sidecar handicap, Fraser, first of all, McCurtain in second spot. Ricky Munro in third place. Starting from 70 metres in this race, there was a line off them off the 60-metre mark, and that man you're watching off the gate was Matt McWilliams. Oh, they go very, very wide there, and that was Norton going very wide, but meantime, Matt McWilliams is still leading them. This is over 4 laps this race, so the fastest riders start from the back, and needless to say, Phil Crump is the man who started right from the back. Meantime, there's the leader, and in second place is Adams. There's Norton going wide there, and Crump with the red helmet on, moving up on the inside now. But gee, there's 2 laps to go, and he's got a lot of ground to make up if he's going to come through and win this race. And meantime, the man who started from the gate, Matt McWilliams. 2 down, 2 to go. In the second spot in the white cap, that is Adams. Now third, red, and that is Phil Crump. So Phil Crump up into third, but just a lap and a half to go, and it looks as though the distance might be too great. And I tell you what, Matt McWilliams doing a great job. There's the battle for second and third, but here's Matt McWilliams leading at the moment in second place. The bike, which is Adams, and third is Phil Crump, and they're on their last lap now. Or McWilliams went a little bit untidy there, which gave a chance for Adams to catch up a little on him, but unfortunately it doesn't look it's going to be enough for Adams, and McWilliams doing a good job. Started from the gate, the checkered flag comes out. Matt McWilliams takes the race in second place. Leigh Adams third is Phil Crump. And now they're racing in the Transport Connection Sidecar feature. This handicap race, 3 of the runners off 60 metres. That's Shane Suter, Andrew Cleave and Gary Trelaw. And look at Cleave on the move already. But there's Doc Falk making a move around the outside of the front marker. Braddock to go to the lead. But look at Andrew Cleave on the green machine, starting to carve his way through them. Up into third place already. Started off 60 metres. And Braddock was the front marker. But it's Doc Falk they have to catch at the moment. He's been riding well tonight, even after a tumble earlier. He's back out there and doing well. But Cleave now up into second spot and really starting to pester the back wheel of the bike of Doc Falk. Down Casino Straight they go. A 6-lap race this one. And the track's starting to rut up a little bit. Look at this, bike to bike. That passenger of Doc Falk right up against the mudguard area of the wheel of this man, Andrew Cleave, bike 36, the 87 Australian champion. And with the way he's racing tonight, you can see why. Takes that wider line, though, out of that corner quite often, has Cleave tonight. But now really pulling out a good gap as they come down out of turn 3, around through Adjib turn. Another lap down in this race, and 3 laps to go at the halfway mark. And Andrew Cleave has cleared out. Doc Falk is back in second spot. Then it's a way back to Shane Suter. Gary Trelaw behind him. And Marty Herkmans, unfortunately, has pulled up back in the field. But meantime, Andrew Cleave, that man, look at the gap. Almost 2 turns ahead now. Coming out, comes up, oh, nice and high up near that big unforgiving wall here at Speedway Park. Now puts the bike back down through Goodyear turn. And on their way to a sure victory here unless anything goes amiss. Doc Falk is starting to slow it a little, and Shane Suter, who also started from the back mark of 60, is starting to catch him. That's Suter in his bike. But Suter now, he's got problems. He's dropped right back, and here's the leader coming out. He's taking the yellow flag now. Cleave on his last lap in this 6-lap race. Suter still motoring, but he's got big troubles. He's back in third place. Doc Falk is second, but a mile back down Casino Straight the last time. Cleave has to look over the shoulder, can even take it easy, can take it safe, play it safe, doesn't have to do anything silly. He slowed right down too, as you can see by the position of his passenger there. But there is the checkered flag. Andrew Cleave takes it out, and Doc Falk second, third to Shane Suter. And coming up, event 21 for the little Formula 500s, and they're off and racing, and it's car 27, Barry Merritt, who leads them out on first lap, and he's getting a good break too already. Back there, car 60, that's Terry Thompson, and the Ampol car dropping back a little bit, car 5, Ken Bowie. But look at the lead already. Terry Thompson's done well, though. He's slipped it under to go into second place in this 8-lap race. But the leader, car 27 of Barry Merritt, Terry Thompson in third place, in second place at least, and then a gaggle of them for the minors. Car 5 there, Ken Bowie, the little blue car. They wiggle around on this track, and very manoeuvrable little buses are they as they go down around there, and still a good lead is out. But Terry Thompson out now, and he's chasing Merritt. He's not going to give in. Good close-up of these cars as he heads down through Adjip, around to head down Casino Straight. And Barry Merritt in car 27 has got a good lead, but Thompson, one of the cars back in the field going up towards the wall, but it's under control and back out and circulating. There's the man who is putting on the pace, and back in third place it's car 5 of Ken Bowie. They're the three leaders as we near the halfway mark of this race. 8 laps, it's over for the Formula 500s here at Speedway Park. Third man, it looks as though Thompson has had some sort of problem and he has pulled out, which is bad luck for him. But meantime, Barry Merritt, he's the race leader. In second spot, it's the car of Bowie. And in third spot, car 61, that's Ron Quickly. Bowie now into second spot. Thompson was doing so well, but unfortunately mechanical problems forced him infield. And that's car 76, John Forrester. He's got a few engine problems by the look of things as well. But in the meantime, down to put another lap off of the counter. There's the race leader, car 27, Barry Merritt. Car 61 just going around that car that's circulating very slowly, and car 76 still getting around, but gee, look at the smoke pouring from it. But in the meantime, it's still car 27 who's got a big lead as he comes down to put another lap on, and that is Merritt. This Formula 500 race. Still in second spot, it's Bowie, and the battle for second and third, there it is. In third spot, car 61, Ron Quickly, and car 74 just behind him. Car 76 at least, which is John Forrester, smoking badly, but still circulating okay. The white flag, though, coming out. 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go, but one of the cars has a bit of a problem, and the yellow light comes on. Coming around for a restart now in this Formula 500 heat, and there's just a couple of laps to go, and it's still Merritt out in front in car 27. He's led from virtually the start of the race. Of course, with the restart, the cars close up, gave Bowie an opportunity. Car 61 back in third place is Ron Quickly, but there's first and second, and they're about to get the white flag with 1 lap to go. Merritt still holding on, but Bowie, thanks to that restart, right up behind him on their last lap. Race leader is Merritt, car 27, Barry Merritt. In second place, it is Ken Bowie, and then there's a big gap back to third place, which is Ron Quickly in car 61. But down Casino for the last time, coming around for Goodyear, and they come around to take the last bend and the checkered flag out, and to take the checkered flag, Barry Merritt. Bowie going very high and wide for second, and in third place, Ron Quickly. Now coming around, bunched up for this first heat of the hot rods, and there's the green flag. Charles Kovacs from the outside gets in front of Baker as they head in towards turn 1. But Baker comes back in on the inside, and quite a gaggle of them up there for first, second and third. Car 14 gets up into second, but it's Les Baker leading them just at the moment. Wall puts it pretty well sideways through Adjip, coming around his 8-lap race, getting very untidy, and back in the field, a few of them very close together as well. It's car 88 going through on the inside, and that's Grant Baker, and oh, there's a big pile-up. 4 of them into each other. Baker, one of them there, and a big pile-up coming out of turn 1. Coming around for a restart in the first heat of the hot rods. The field decimated by that crash. Only the 3 runners left in this 8-lap heat. And leading them out, it is Baker. That's Guerin in car 14 from Murray Bridge. But it's Baker, Grant Baker, who's leading them at this stage. Coming around with just over 6 laps to go. Charles Kovacs, Australia 1, is only touring. He's got problems. I believe he had fuel problems of some description. Thankfully, nobody injured in that 4-car pile-up as well. But there's Guerin, who's in second place at the moment. It's Grant Baker leading, and Charles Kovacs at the tail, just motoring around, hardly even sliding the car in the corners. Not like this man at the moment. Grant Baker, car 88 from Murray Bridge, coming down now, has 5 laps to go. Puts it out of Goodyear turn, and now getting quite a lead over Guerin in second place, and Charles Kovacs in Australia 1 back in third place. Very disappointing for him, just can't get the car going. But meantime, Grant Baker can in the pit stop car, the stock rod. Now another lap to go, and at the halfway mark of this 8-lap race is Guerin, car 14 from Murray Bridge, and in third place, Charles Kovacs. Down Casino Straight, that's the leader, Grant Baker. Race leader at this stage in the first of 2 heats to lead up to the stock car feature tonight. Another lap he goes, and now would you believe that Guerin has pulled out? He's got problems. So we've got Baker, the man you're seeing on screen now, the only one who is motoring without problems. There's Guerin out of the race. Kovacs is only going around. He's not even putting any speed in. There's got problems there. 2.5 laps to go, and there's the man who's leading this race and has absolutely got it shot to pieces. Could just about get out, push the car from here, and still win with the lead he has over Charles Kovacs. In fact, with just over a lap to go, there's every chance Kovacs, who you saw very slowly motoring around Speedway Park, will be lapped. And there he is, and just going very, very slowly. And in the meantime, Baker now coming down with 1 lap to go. Kovacs may hold on and not have the indignity in Australia 1 of being lapped, but Baker, he's obviously not doing anything to hurt the car as well. Now coming down Casino Straight for the last time and puts it through turn 3, through Adjib turn. Kovacs will just get to the finishing line first, but almost a lap behind. And the winner of the race, Grant Baker, second, Charles Kovacs. And down the back straight for the first time, he leads. In second place is Osman, and it's Wolford in the third place. But down with 1 lap out of 8 completed. Neil Warhurst leads them through for the first time, and in fact car 4's gone over. It looks like Warhurst went a bit wide, may have had a problem or two, and car 4 Osman ahead of Wolford, and back in third place now is Neil Warhurst, and the others starting to string out. A bit of a dice back the rear of field, but that's Wolford. He's in second place at the moment, and there's car 4. Car 4, Dennis Osman, who's leading him. Oh, one of the cars got sideways and Cameron smashed into him. Now they're coming around for a restart in Heat 2 of the hot rods, and there's the green light, and it is Osman who leads them away. Wolford goes up on the outside, but Wolford has a flat tyre to the inside right, is pretty flat, so it's going to be interesting to see just how far he goes. Not too far at the moment as Osman leads out down Casino Straight and starts to get a bit of a breakout now. And you can see how Wolford having trouble with that car sliding around. In third place it is car 28, and that's Darryl Wright from Murray Bridge. But the race leader is Dennis Osman out in car 4. In fact, on the red light before, he hit the wall slightly, but it doesn't appear to have affected this stock rod at all, because he's getting it very sideways and almost gets hit inside, and Wolford goes into the lead. Just missed him there, and Osman able to keep going, but now has dropped right back in the field. So the race placings, look at that inside right tyre, the back right tyre of Wolford, flat as a tack, but he's still continuing around. But right now goes up and passes him as they come down into turn 3 and about to come around through Adjib turn. Back in third place now through the pile of dust is car 21, that's Alex Ramsey. And Osman, who was the race leader, lost it very badly, is back in fourth. But there's Wolford, car 5, in second place, but look at the gap now that Wright has over the rest of the field. Darryl Wright, car 28. Now Osman starting to make some moves again, to get inside 1, and now it's Ramsey who goes wide and spins, and the yellow light comes on, but it's back to green because the cars keep going. He harmlessly spun out. Now Wolford is up against the wall in the main straight. He stopped, and there's car 28 right. There's the car of Wolford. Now the yellow lights come on at flat tyre, stopping the progress of Wolford. So down the back straight with just over 2 laps to go, and still racing on the yellow light with the car up against the wall. And here is the leader, Darryl Wright, the race leader. Osman back up into second place. He was leading the race earlier, and way back to Moore in third place, who is the only other car running. There's the race leader. Down Casino Straight in second place, that is in fact. There's the race leader, Wright, as he puts it through turn 3 now. He looks as though he's having a bit of a problem, takes it a little wide there, but he should hang on to get this checkered flag. He does. Wright into first place. Osman second. Moore gets very untidy on the corner, but he'll swing his way home for third place. Coming up now for the Formula 500 feature, and there's the green flag. Off for 12 laps they head, and it's car 12, Clive Baxter, who leads them around into turn 1. Car 61 back behind him, Ron Quigley, but he's under threat already from car 4, which is smoking badly, but Dave Parker's car still going well, and 27 Merritt in trying to get under him. That's second, third, fourth and fifth, Bowie behind them, but in the meantime Baxter's cleared out in the lead and got a very handy break early in this race. Getting in under them, it looks like Merritt getting up into second place, and third is the car of Ron Quigley. But there's the race leader heading down through turn 3 and coming around through Goodyear turn. It's Bowie and Quigley, and they're having a good dice in there for second and third, and it looks as though Bowie might just get through for third place, just ahead of Quigley. In second place Merritt, and a car, it looks like Paul Ryan's car, off the track, but they've managed to clear the track, and the cars will keep racing as the car pushed off of Paul Ryan. Now Baxter goes through to put another lap down. That's Merritt, and Barry Merritt up into second place. Bowie is back in third place, Ken Bowie, and Quigley in fourth. Baxter, the race leader. He's got a nice break now. Car 4, which was Dave Parker, smoking badly at the start. He's gone infield. He's out of the race. And through the smoke left by Parker's car comes Baxter in the Ampol car 12 out of Adjib turn and now heading down Casino Straight for yet another lap in this race. Ken Bowie back in third place at the moment, then a big break back to fourth. And second, Barry Merritt at the moment. There's Baxter. He's leading the race. And Ken Bowie in second spot. Now round through turn 2 and once more down the back straight here at Speedway Park. The feature race tonight for the Formula 500 coming up to reach the halfway point of the race with just over 6 laps to go. In fact, right now, 6 laps to travel, and Baxter is slowing badly. Baxter in trouble. He goes infield. So it's Merritt, car 27, Barry Merritt, who's out in front. Ken Bowie in second spot, albeit a long way back, in fact, about the length of the back straight here. Race leader Barry Merritt, he's got a big break. If he can keep that car together, keep it going strong, he should be okay. There's quickly car 61 back in third spot at the moment, and he's got another car starting to breathe down his neck. But your race leader, 27, Barry Merritt, he's doing it easily at the moment. Bowie unable to make any sort of indentation in that lead. There's the battle for third and fourth place, and that's Williamson in car 26 in fourth, and ahead of him is car 61 of Quigley. But another lap down for the leader. This is the battle in the race, though. There's Barry Merritt. He's the leader of the race. And once more down the back straight, past the casino signs. And whoa, Williamson getting it a little untidy there, and that gives Quigley a bit of breathing space. And in fact, Williamson gets it sideways, almost loses it, but able to keep the car going. But meantime, Barry Merritt has really cleared out. Ken Bowie in second spot, can't do much about it. Quigley back in third spot. That's car 9, one of the back runners in the field of Graham Boat, still circulating strongly, but unfortunately not enough pace with the leaders. We've got 2 laps to go now for Barry Merritt, the race leader in the Formula 500 feature race. He's got this race shot to bits if he can just keep the car together, which it appears to be doing soon, doing very well. Way back in second spot is Ken Bowie, miles behind in fact. That's Williamson in car 26, and he's back in about 5th spot at the moment after having a bit of a spin. There's Barry Merritt, the race leader. He's on his last lap, and in fact, as he heads down the back straight, the white flag just greeted for the second man, and Ken Bowie, and Quigley now through on his last lap. Car 9 Boat, one of the back markers, and coming right up on him to take out the race. Car 27, Barry Merritt, takes the checkered flag in the Formula 500 feature here at Speedway Park. A long way back, just coming around now, who seems to be slowing right down, but he'll get there for second spot, Ken Bowie, and back in third spot, car 61 of Ron Quigley. This is the hot rod feature coming up for a start, and there's the green flag. Only a small field, unfortunately, of 5 to start in this race, but it's car 28 gets through, and that is Darryl Wright to lead them early. Charles Kovacs in Australia 1 in third, and it's Les Baker in front of him in second spot. But as they come around in this 10-lap race, a tight bunch of these hot rods, but it's still Darryl Wright who leads them through. Les Baker in second, Charles Kovacs third. Kovacs taking the inside line. Baker's car gets a little untidy there, and Kovacs able to get through into second place now, hot on the heels of Darryl Wright. There's second and third, and there's the 3 of them. And whoa, Wright and Baker goes high into the fence, able to keep going though, but goes back to the rear of the field. Meantime, up front, Charles Kovacs in Australia 1 had a fuel problem earlier in the night, has got it sorted out, and has gone through to take the lead from Darryl Wright in car 28 in second place. So the leader is Charles Kovacs, and now it's the turn of Darryl Wright, who puts it high and into the fence, and that means that it's Grant Baker goes into second spot and Alex Ramsey into third spot. So this race, only a small field, but changing all the time, and Charles Kovacs, the man who's leading them down the Casino Straight, out of turn 3, coming around through Adjib now. Car 88 in second spot is Grant Baker. Charles Kovacs goes over the line. Grant Baker follows him through in second. Third, Ramsey, and Les Baker is in fourth spot. And now Darryl Wright back out and is circulating, but a lap down and in last place. There's the race leader. It's Charles Kovacs, Australia 1, through Adjib, takes it wide and high, through for another lap, and at the halfway point of the race, Charles Kovacs with a very comfortable lead, about half the straight length. There's the second place man, car 88, Grant Baker, and it's Les Baker who's got up into third place now, ahead of Alex Ramsey. But meantime, the fire red car, number 1. There's Les Baker. He's up into second, into third at least, and Ramsey into fourth place. There's the battle. Ramsey in the black car, but Baker in front of him in car 2, the blue car. Down the back straight, and now Grant Baker has taken the car high and almost hit the fence, but he's kept it going and has kept it second place. And here's another spin. This time it's Ramsey who spins out. He's able to get the car going again. They're sturdy beasts, these hot rods, that's for sure, but he's blown any chance he had of featuring in the placings. Charles Kovacs down Casino Straight once again. with just a couple of laps to go. In second spot, it's back to car 88 of Grant Baker. Kovacs takes it out wide to get past Ramsey, does it easily, and now 2 laps to go for Charles Kovac, the race leader. Car 88 second. There he is, Grant Baker, and a long way back to third place, but it's Les Baker in third, but there's the race leader down Casino Straight. Heading into turn 3, about to come around into turn 4. Darryl Wright's in front of him and only circulating very slowly. White flag out for Charles Kovac. He's on his last lap. Out through Goodyear. Second place over the line is Grant Baker on his last lap now, and way back, about a half a lap back to Les Baker. But Charles Kovac's coming around. He'll be saluting the judge tonight as he comes through edge of turn, and the checkered flag out for Australia 1, Charles Kovac. In second spot, coming around now is Grant Baker, and a long way back to the blue number 2 car of Les Baker, who will take third place in the race.
Well, there you go. We had to wait 3 long years to see the bikes back out here at Speedway Park, but the solos, the sidecars, and even the old Vincents certainly made the wait very much worthwhile. Well, that's it for another big night here from Speedway Park. Please join us and we'll bring you more live action. But for now, this is John Casey bidding you farewell.
We've got the night Speedway. We're all